Happy Halloween, everybody. I know it's not October 31st, but everything in October is Halloween now. Oh. Welcome back to another episode of Shanclen Shadow Productions. Happy Halloween, like I said in the intro. The very intro of all intros. Happy Halloween, it is October. Now let's go ahead and tell some more creepy tales from you, the viewers. And as always, if you guys are enjoying the content, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Turn on your notifications so you know when every upload of Shanclen Shadow Productions happens. Yes, let's go ahead and hop into these stories. Watch in like 20 years, I'm gonna be like doing this with glasses. First off, I absolutely love this channel. Native American folklore and history fascinate me, and I find them beautiful. Listening to stories from our brothers in the US is how I discovered Shanclen Shadow Productions. I'd like to share a story of mine from Australia, the land down under to the land of up over. So here we go. Bear with me, this story's a bit long, with lots of small details that seem insignificant at first, but it all comes together. I'm not sure if it's truly spooky, but it's my most recent experience and definitely my favorite. This happened at Zillman's Crossing, a spot with a small waterfall, if you can even call it that. A little area along the Caboolture River in Australia. This area is known for being pretty rough, and being a small woman, camping out alone probably isn't the smartest idea. But I've been prepared to go to a brush party that was cancelled last minute, while I was already on the road. Darn it. All packed and pumped to party, I decided to have an improvised camp night on my own, somewhere not too far where I was. For those who know Australia, just up the road can mean anywhere from 10 minutes to over an hour's drive. I remember a little day rest area an ex-boyfriend once took me to. It seemed like a good spot to chill, smoke some green, and head off in the morning. It took me about 40 minutes to get there, and by that time, it was already dark. I set myself up in my shaggin' wagon with some tunes, beers, and a couple of joints. The night itself was peaceful and lovely. The river flowing gently beside me, crickets and frogs chirping merrily. I'm high as a kite, life's dandy. Come 6 a.m. after a good rest, I woke to discover that this beautiful spot was absolutely trashed with litter, or as I call it, moop, an acronym for mess of the other peoples. This weighed heavy on my heart considering it's such a beautiful area. Luckily, I had some rubbish bags and gloves from my work as a cleaner, so I decided to do what I do best, clean up the moop. It took me most of the morning. While I worked, I noticed a white ute, what Americans call a truck, parked about 15 to 20 feet from my wagon. I thought it was unusual. I heard no other vehicles pull up on the rocky dirt road. I'd seen no other living souls except animals. Being alone, I decided to stay vigilant. You never know. I figured I'd run into whoever it was eventually. Around 11 a.m., I was done cleaning, but something about the land felt scarred, in pain. There had been bad flooding about 4 months earlier, and I realized a tiny waterfall was clogged. The swimming area was green and stagnant. My work wasn't done yet. I got to the river and I started moving debris, rocks, and sticks, throwing them aside. I wasn't quiet about it either. I was angry the local council hadn't done it themselves. It's literally their job. Then, all of a sudden, unease crept over me. For some reason, I felt compelled to look to my right, upstream. There, standing dead still, on a massive boulder in the middle of the river, was a modern-day First Nations Aboriginal man. He was staring at me. He was about 40 or 50 feet away, but I have impeccable far-seeing vision. I could clearly see the navy blue polo shirt he wore, covered in brown and white circular native dot artwork. I glanced back down at what I was doing, but in less than a second I looked up again and he was gone. It had been less than a second. I thought, whoa, these bush fellows are fast to move. He must be the owner of the truck. My next thought was to find the spot he'd been on. It seemed like a nice boulder to crack open a beer and have a joint after my hard-earned efforts in the blazing sun. By about 12:30 p.m., the river was flowing nicely again, rushing loudly into the swimming spot, stirring up a slime. Dragonflies and sparrows darted about happily. I took off into the bush, but here is where it got strange. I couldn't find the path toward the boulder. Every trail led to a dead end. I hadn't seen the man again, but I wanted to chat with him and ask how to reach the spot where he stood. The area was small with thin shrubs, easy to move through. There was no easy way someone could have passed through without me hearing or see them. Where the hell has he gone? I decided to give up and turn around, but as I turned, I found myself face to face with an enormous black butterfly, the same type my father had loved before he passed away. A little side story. My dad spent a lot of time with the First Nations people. He was given a paddock name and a boomerang back in his heyday. Before he died, he told me to look out for these butterflies and said that they were going to be him, and to always think of him when I saw one. So back to the story. I asked the butterfly out loud to show me the way. Without missing a beat, it flapped its wings and took off into the bush. Lo and behold, there was a tiny trail I'd passed several times earlier, hidden under the brush. So there I went, chasing the butterfly through the bush, like Alice in Wonderland chasing her damn rabbit. Sharp shrubs scratched my legs, twigs tangled my hair, cobwebs clung to my face. The butterfly darted left, then right, then left again, and finally landed on a gum tree closing its wings. I found myself near the river again, right at the edge, but the boulder wasn't there. Disappointment flooded me as quickly as the river ran. I looked upstream. The boulder was only about 8 feet away, but sitting in the middle of the fast rushing rapids, the water was deep. There was no way a human could get up there without being drenched from the chest down. I was stunned. Putting all the details together, it hit me. I think I'd seen a full-body apparition. Across the river, up in the trees, I spotted something. The same t-shirt the man had been wearing, tied to a high-hanging branch, faded, worn, and torn. The navy blue was dulled, but the circular dot artwork was unmistakably the same. I noticed other clothes too, at least half a dozen different garments hanging insanely high, and my heart dropped. At that point, my curiosity was quenched. I turned around and made my way back to the car. The butterfly was gone, and the bugs, frogs, and birds went silent. Eerily silent. Yet somehow I didn't feel anything malignant. When I got back to my wagon, the white truck was gone. No one had passed me, and the only person I'd seen was Aboriginal man or spirit. I don't think he was warning me, but I think he was thanking me. The whole time I hadn't been bit by a single mosquito or hurt by any stray branches. Not even a scratch on my legs from the sharp shrubs. I packed my things, and as if a switch had been flicked, carloads of families began arriving. Kids played in the clean, cool river. Partners laughed and drank by the bank. Biker boys stopped on black Harleys, my dad's favorite too. I believe I felt what the spirit had been feeling, a heavy heart, the anger, and then peace. Sometimes I think about going back to check it out again. Thank you for listening to my experience. Much love from the land down under. Oh, let's go ahead and talk about this. So, you ran upon a site to where congestion was happening inside of the land and outside too, and you felt it. You wanted to go on a little adventure by yourself, and sometimes the land calls upon you for aid. Spirit people that are there call upon you for aid, and that's pretty much what happened in the story. You felt pretty much the spirits needing your help to be able to clean up the land. You know, spirits can only do so much when it comes to physical things like this. And the fact that you were able to get that river running again, the spirits kind of wanted to show themselves there. You know, especially when it comes to moving waters like that, running rivers have energy with it too. It kind of helps move along energies in the local area that come from different places. And so the fact that you helped out those spirits, they wanted to kind of show you that they're thankful. And not too sure what the story is about those clothes being there, if those people passed away there or not. But if they did, I'm sure their spirits are happy you got the river going again. And kind of, it might tie into the work that your father had done with the indigenous peoples of the land too. Them coming around and kind of recognizing your bloodline, your heritage, and the stuff that your father had done for the people, understood that. And they recognized you. So they were like, okay, well, this is probably the person that's going to be able to help us get things moving again. So you were chosen. And they gave you a sign that you were recognized, which is the butterfly. So they took you to the place where the boulder was. but you noticed that only a spirit can make its way over there. And then you turn back. You return back to your vehicle. The truck is gone, but other people have arrived. So it's almost like the land itself opened itself up to allowing people to return back to the sacred area, sacred land that's there. But good on you. Many blessings to you from the land up over to the land down under, or however you worded it. But thank you so much for submitting that story. It's very, very interesting. Now, let's hop into the next one. Oh. First off, sir, I just want to say how much I enjoy your work. Your videos have given me not only insight into a worldview of your people, but also something else. Something harder to explain. Until fairly recently, I had never been a spiritual person at all. But since the event I'm about to share, I found myself longing for spiritual energy and knowledge. You've helped me realize how many of my own habits and behaviors have contributed to the negative energies that have surrounded me for years. About a year and a half ago, I was suddenly laid off for corporate reasons completely outside my control. It came at an incredible bad time, financially, emotionally, and physically. I fell into a dark spiral, contemplating giving up and simply letting my medical issue take me. My 2 cats were worried sick about me. I wasn't being a good caregiver to them either. Then, about a month and a half into my layoff, something happened. Something that changed my life forever. I hesitate to call it a dream or a nightmare. I was plagued with night terrors as a child, but this felt far too real. Deep down, I believe I was granted a glimpse into a part of our world mortals aren't normally meant to see. In this experience, I woke up from my bed to find my home bathed in an orange and red light, like smoke from a massive fire blotting out the sun. My 2 cats were at my side, their full attention fixed on the front door. They weren't alarmed, but they were alert. I rose and walked to the door to see what was happening. My cats followed close behind, still staring intently at the door. When I opened the front door, I felt a jolt of power, neither positive nor negative, just present. Looking out through my still closed storm door, I saw 2 figures on the landing immediately in front of me. The first knelt with its back to me, wearing some sort of skin like an otter's pelts. It was carving an intricate circular shape into the space directly in front of my door. The tool it used looked like a deer or elk antler, but it carved into the concrete landing as easily as chalk on a blackboard. The only sound was scraping. No words, no movement, but carving. The second figure stood about 6'6", cloaked in dark animal fur. His face was painted in the color of dark ash. On his right hand, he held a fan made of feathers bound by a bird's leg for a handle, eagle feathers or some other bird. In his left, he grasped a totem that radiated spiritual weight. It was made of wicker wood, binding rings or medallions of turquoise, and he manipulated it in the time with his chanting, much as a Catholic might use a rosary while praying. The language was one I distinctly knew to be Lakota. I couldn't understand the words, but deep down, I knew these beings weren't here to harm me. As I watched the orange-red glow inside my home began to lighten, I reached for the handle to open the storm door, but both my cats immediately jumped in front of me yowling. Now I looked up from them. The chanting figure was staring straight into my eyes. We locked eyes for several seconds. He blinked, and I bolted awake from my bed. For real this time. Both my cats were huddled beside me, wide awake and near my head, which was unusual for them. I got up and showered, reflecting on what I had just experienced. For context, I'm a normal white guy living in Idaho, but I do have a documented ancestry among the Oglala Lakota back in the mid-19th century. Even though I have no legal or real-world connection to the Lakota beyond that ancestor, I've since wondered if the spirits view us mortals in those terms, if perhaps these beings recognize me as kin in need of help. My ancestry is also primarily Irish and Scottish, the modern descendants of the Celts. In Irish folklore, one of the main ways to access the overworld and its residents is via water. Looking back, I realized that all my life, whenever I have been in great distress, I have always sought solace in water. I doubt that's a coincidence. At any rate, thank you for your time and thank you for reading this. Oh, let's go ahead and talk about this one. So it seems that you were blessed by some of the local spirits. We called the Indigenous, spirit people coming to bless your home. They kind of knew and understood that you were going through some hardships in your life. So there are spirits that kind of travel around in areas where if there's ever a home that is going through hardship, whenever there's a family going through hardship, they give blessings. Doesn't matter if you are indigenous or not, you are on their land. And so, sorry about your layoff, but they sense kind of that dark feelings you were feeling after losing your job, going through all that. And they wanted to be able to give you some blessings to be able to help you out. And they allowed you to kind of see what they go through, to be able to see that, to kind of comfort your mind, comfort your spirit, comfort your home, and to try to give you blessings to uplift you from your current situation that you were going through. And that's really good to be able to experience those spirits like that. And you have to thank them. You know, I would say if you were to see something like that, or you're gifted a vision such as that, give a tobacco offering outside. Tell them thank you. And you know, it's very, very rare for them to want to be able to show you. And maybe because of, like how you mentioned, your ancestry is of the land in the area, they wanted to, you know, give you some blessings. You know, maybe that ancestor could have been them too, wanted to come and give you some blessings through the hardship and hard times that you are currently going through. So with those blessings, take them and make your life even better. Take those blessings, don't take it lightly, take it to heart, because they rarely do that. So you got a blessing inside of a vision right there. So 2 very good, amazing stories of spirit people, the Indigenous, and spiritual warriors in locations of, whether that be in a sacred location or somebody wanting to give blessings. These are 2 amazing stories about how some of these spirits come and bless you, let themselves be known to you. So I would say, always have some tobacco with you. If you ever run into these situations, offer that tobacco and things will work out great for you. Oh. So now, some channel updates that I have. It is Halloween, so now I'm going to go ahead and prepare for a paranormal investigation. That's going to be coming out next week or the week after. But I have a lot of things in store for this month. So let spooky season begin, and let's go ahead and be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Turn on your notifications so we can get more people here at Shanclen Shadow Productions. Many blessings to you all. And again, thank you so much to these submitters. It takes a lot of courage to be able to submit these stories. So everybody in the comments, thank these viewers for submitting these stories, as they are really great lessons. If you guys would like to send a story of your own, you can send it over to shanclenshadowproductions@gmail.com. Be sure to follow me at Clen_warrior_SSP on my Instagram. And be sure to follow my second channel, Shanclen Shadow Lodge, on YouTube. There's going to be a new upcoming video about my vlog to Montana. It's really cool, really interesting. I'm almost done with that one. And go follow my second Instagram for that channel at Clen_Shadowlodge_SSP. Yes. If you guys have any creepy videos you want to send to me, send it over to my Shanclen SP on TikTok, or you can send it to me on Instagram. Now, as some of you may know or may not know, I am a part of a radio show called The Geek Speak Show. Now, if you follow me on my Instagram at ClenWarriorSSP, which you should, on there, I post whenever our weekly show gets shared, and I do a segment on there called the Navajo Nerdy News. So, on the Navajo Nerdy News, I go ahead and give updates on what happens in geek culture. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up on this channel is because it's October. And for October, for the Geek Speak Show, we are going to be sharing some very, very creepy tales on there. So it's going to be very awesome, very amazing. But let me just tell you, I have a lot of stories, and the host of the Geek Speak Show, Henry, has a lot of stories too. But we want to hear from you. If you have any scary stories that you would like to share on the Geek Speak Show, you can go ahead and send those stories to geek.speak@gmx.com. That is geek.speak@gmx.com. Now you have until October 24th to be able to submit your stories. You can go ahead and record yourself if you want to, send it on over to that email. But if you guys don't want to hear your voice on the radio, you guys can go ahead and write out your story and email it to the same email. Henry and I will be reading out your stories on October 29th. And again, let me remind you, October 24th is the last day to submit. So if you guys want to be able to send it over to the Geek Speak Show, that will be awesome and amazing too. Yeah, go follow my Instagram, Clan Warrior SSP. I do a bunch of stuff on there. You need it. You don't even know about that, do you? Go follow. Go subscribe. Anyways, many blessings to you all. Stay spooky and let's enjoy October. Hook on it. Liam, my mind was just all over the place. I couldn't say nothing. Oh my gosh. Really good one though. Really good one. Audio clap.